Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Demons Slaanesh. Now in this video we're going to go through talk about the Slaanesh Warp Storm effects, which are a bunch of abilities they can use and spend Warp Storm points, which is a special sort of currency for the Chaos Demons in the game. We'll then look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for the faction. We'll then have a look at a couple of other units to expand upon after those first couple of initial purchases, and finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Chaos Demons army with the Slaaneshi demons at its heart. And so, Slaanesh Warp Storm effects. First of all, Mesmerizing Dance for 4 Warp Storm points. You use this effect at the start of the fight phase, and effectively, all your units that are engagement range just to fight first. This is just a really solid effect. Generally, your Slaaneshi demons are a little bit of a glass cannon, so this is something definitely that can really help. Lightning Speed for 3 Warp Storm points. It can allow you to get +1 to your run and charge rolls, which is really fun. And then you also have Dark Hallucinations for 2 Warp Storm points. Use this effect at the start of your opponent's turn, and until the end of the turn, while an enemy unit is within 12 inch of one or more Legiones Demonicus Slaanesh units from your army, each time that enemy unit starts to perform an action, you roll 2d6. If the result is greater than that of the enemy's leadership characteristic, the action fails and the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds as well. Now that might sound really good, but it does require a little bit of setup to truly make work. How you want to do this is sort of have your Legiones Demonica units off the objectives, but in range of the places your opponent is going to start to perform the actions potentially on objectives. It's a lot harder to stop this on, say, things like where your opponent is trying to do an retrieve data, say on a table quarter. It's a bit harder to do then, but definitely on objectives you can really zone it out and make sure your opponent can't actually do them, or is at least going to have a trouble in doing them. But where to get started with the faction? Where else though but with the Greater Demon, the Keeper of Secrets. Now the Keeper of Secrets, first of all, is an absolutely amazing miniature, should be said. Toughness 7, 20 wounds, 6 attacks base, and it does degrade a little bit on that, though not overly much. You know, drops only to 4 attacks at its lowest bracket and still on a 4+ to hit. Now it has a couple of different weapons. First of all, it's got the Withersteel Sword, which is +2 strength, -3 AP, damage 3, and each time an enemy model loses any wounds as a result of this weapon until the end of the battle, each time a model makes a melee attack, you use -1 from their wound rolls. So pretty cool. Now, the Snapping Claws are actually a malefic weapon, so they're going to get additional attacks there that they can use at all times, which is fun. And then the Living Whip as well, where is an Assault 6, 12-inch range, strength 6, -2 AP, damage 2 weapon. Now, you've got other warrior you can upgrade this model with. First of all, the Ritual Knife. At the end of the fight phase, you can select an enemy model within 3 inches of the barrel that lost any wounds during that phase, and result of the barrel. On a 2+, that model suffers another D3 mortal wounds. So really good if you split your attacks and you put your attacks off into something that's not quite dead, potentially getting an extra few wounds in. Shining Aegis can give you a demonic save of 4+4+ instead of the 5+4+ you have. And the Sinistrous Hand can allow you to, at the end of the fight phases, any enemy models were destroyed by an attack made by the bearer will regain D3 wounds. Now you do put out an aura of 6 inch for all Legiones Demonicus Slaaneshi core units that allows them to reroll hit rolls of 1, and your Mesmerizing Form makes you -1 to hit at all times. You've also got the ability to cast 2 psychic powers and deny 2 as well, which is pretty cool. Now to go along with this Greater Demon, we have the Demonettes of Slaanesh. They're a troops choice and the only true Slaaneshi troops choice we have available to us, but they do have their Piercing Claws for -2 AP, damage 1 with 4 attacks per model, which is insanely cool. Demonic Icons as well in there, along with the Instrument of Chaos, will allow you to get a nice ability to ignore any modifiers to combat attrition tests, meanwhile also being +1 to your leadership as well, which is really fun. Now, if we're looking at where to go next, first of all, I think the Fiends are a fun choice. They're an elite choice for a Slaaneshi force, and they do have 4 attacks, 4 wounds, strength 5, toughness 4. So a little bit, less of a glass cannon, but still, toughness 4 isn't a lot to write home about. Soporific Musk means while an enemy unit is within engagement range, unless that's a vehicle or Titanic unit, each time an enemy model makes an attack, they're -1 to hit. You get your Barbed Tails from a Malefic attack at an extra damage 3, AP -3. And then your Dissecting Claws as well, AP -2, damage 2. All of these are at your base strength of 5. They're also a 14-inch move, so which makes them an incredibly fast unit, though they do lack fly or anything like that, so it does have its limitations. If we start looking into the Slaanesh chariots, the first one I want to talk about is the Hellflayer, a fast attack unit available to the Slaanesh. The Hellflayer is sort of your standard chariot. Now, this thing has evasive speed, so it's each time a ranged attack is made against it is -1 to hit. Cutting down the foe as well, each time the model is selected to fight. If it made a charge move, change the model's bladed axle's ability to Malefic 6 instead of its Malefic 4. It's got a variety of different attacks and actually packs out quite a few hits. You know, it's got 2 Malefic 4 weapons there, and also it has its own Lashes of Torment for a ranged attack, and its Piercing Claws with 8 attacks. This thing packs out an incredible amount of attacks for the 75 points you're paying. Now, Seekers themselves, not to be confused with the Seeker Chariots, Seekers are the Daemonette cavalry you see here. Move 16, so incredibly fast, with demonic icons and instruments of chaos providing the same benefits they do for the Daemonettes as standard. These have the Malefic 2 lashing tongue attacks and piercing claws of 4, so each of the model is going to pack out 6 attacks. Unholy Speed means you can get +1 to your charge roll with one of your Warp Storm points. You can actually get +2 to the charges, making them a pretty effective unit. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the heavy support unit, which is the Exalted Seeker Chariot. For me, this hits like a ton of bricks. First of all, you've got the Exalted Seeker Tongues for Malefic 8. You've got Piercing Claws and your Lashes of Torment. The Sighing Impact is a little bit different, so it's not got Malefic weapons on this. But what it does is you roll 4d6 each time an enemy unit is within engagement range. After it finishes the charge, for each 5+, the enemy will suffer 1 mortal wound. Until the end of turn as well, you add 2 to this model's attacks characteristic, pumping up to 10. And then evasive speed -1 to hit as well. And so here we have our sample army list for the Slaanesh Demons. Now, first of all, we're going in an Arcs of Omen detachment, meaning we're going to have a requirement of 3 of one of the types of units, and we've gone for troops being that compulsory unit type, taking 3 units of Demonettes there, all with the upgrades you would expect. And then we've got a Keeper of Secrets who will be our HQ option. We spent 2 CP on this model in order to give us both a Relic and a Warlord trait. But before that, we've got Psychic Powers on the model. We've got Delightful Agonies, which will give us a 5-up Feel No Pain. And then we've also got Hysterical Frenzy for +1 attack, and on any modified hit roll of 6 we cast this unit on, it'll get an additional hit as well. So extra attacks and extra hits potentially coming out of it. A nice little combo on that. Now, we've then got, first of all, our Warlord trait, which will be the Fatal Caress, where each time this Warlord makes a melee attack, an unmodified successful wound roll of a 5-up means opponents can't take invulnerable saves against our attacks. We've got the Ritual Knife on the model as well. I really like the Ritual Knife for those additional little D3 models. I think it's a really fun little ability. Not only can it potentially kill models, but it can also be great at potentially knocking someone down a bracket if need be. Now, the stratagem we've got for our Relic, we've gone with the Wither Stealer Sword. For me, I really like this weapon. And so we've upgraded that said weapon with the Soul Stealer, plus the Strength -3 AP, damage 3. Each time a model is destroyed by an attack made with this weapon, the bearer regains a lost wound to a maximum of 6 per phase. And each time you attack an Eldari unit, you automatically wound the targets as well. The other units in the army, we've got a unit of 3 Fiends, 2 Hellflayers, and an Exalted Seeker Chariot, giving us a couple of really fast-moving, hard-hitting pieces that can provide us with some nice additional support. If you've been playing with Slaanesh Demons in Warhammer 40k, let us know how it's been going down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you did enjoy the video and you want to say something, leave us a comment down below and let us know what you thought. If you'd like to come chat with me and other members of our great little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description. Also, down there in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel if you'd like to do so. You can either grab yourself some merch via our Teespring or Ko-fi stores, which are linked down there, or our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can help support the channel, get yourself a shout out, and indeed, if you're a YouTube member as well, get yourself some cool emotes to use in our live discussions, or indeed on your comments on YouTube. As a special thank you to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, and Daniel Etherington. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariane Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, and Dylan Areno. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see here for the channel, and to everyone who helps run our Discord server, all our mods, you're fantastic, and everyone who makes it a great place in there as well, and indeed to everyone who helps come and do the battle reports, and to all our sponsors on the channel as well. Thank you all once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.